Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and this is going to be the Matchday vlog for Everton versus Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I'm in the city centre at the moment, just down by the Exchange Street. Well, I'm in like the square. I'm not even sure what the actual square is actually called, so apologies on that front. But right now I'm just outside the Black Cat Club and let's see, any other side I can really notice. This is it, I haven't got my glasses on right now, so I'm basically... But yeah, so I'm excited for this game today actually. Weather's not exactly ideal. I've had to come into the city fairly early, we're about 3.5 hours till kickoff. So I'm just having a little bit of a wander around the city beforehand and then I'll just slowly make my way over to the stadium. Now, as we can tell, it's a bit wet and rainy. Wet, windy and rainy, should I even say. As you can see from this little clip here, we've been hit with a fair bit of wind and it's actually making the water fairly choppy. Basically, the closer you get to the docks, the worse it gets. As you get inland, like into the city centre and everything, it's actually not too bad. But when you're out right by the water, so the likes of the Pierhead, Albert Dock, King's Dock, Monarch's Quay, anywhere around there, you're in for a bad time. I got blown around quite a bit actually. But yeah, so I'm going to make my way further into the city. Well, probably even make my way close to the stadium. Hopefully, keep yourself nice and warm, don't get too soaked. And we'll have a little look at the surroundings. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute.
No, he's not now. It's getting better. He's going down more. The both
Right, so we have received the lineup. So it's the same lineup that we had against. Can't say. Not even Crystal Palace. Basically, it was the first. It's a very usual lineup that we have. So we've got Pickford in goal. You've got Jacob Ryan out on the right. You've got Tarkowski, Michael Keane in the middle, with Vitaly Mykolenko on the left. You've then got Idrissa Gana-Gueye and James Garner, alongside Jack Grealish, Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, Iliman Ndiaye, and Beto up top. So it's a very typical sort of lineup. Jordan Pickford's just come out, if you can hear the applause in there. But yeah, so it's a very typical lineup that we've done here. And when it comes to Spurs, it's a very similar lineup to how they operated against Aston Villa. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we actually go up against them, because what we have to take into account is Spurs have been very, very good away from home, but their performance at home has been a little bit something else. So it's very interesting because our home performance versus our away performance is pretty much the polar opposite of what theirs is. But yeah, so here's hoping we get something out of this. Up the top piece.
Everton 10 and 18 is in an offside position.
Okay, so it's now half time. Everton are currently losing 2-0. Both goals conceded by a corner. In all fairness, so this game is an absolute travesty. Not for Everton. Performance has been really good from Everton. However, the refereeing decisions have been questionable. Well, not even questionable, absolutely atrocious. Everton has a good little corner goal there. They ruled out due to offside. Now, granted, it was offside by a fraction, like. But on top of that, just many other decisions. I mean, the blatant time wasted by Tottenham. You've got situations of yellow cards going and miss. I mean, the Tottenham keeper should have been yellow cards at least once or twice here, just for the fact that he's pretty much, how can I put this? The time wasted that was coming from this when they were 1-0 up was almost blatant to the point of just insulting. But in regards to Everton, the main weak point at this point right now for us is Beto. Beto is the most blatant weak point that we've got right now that needs to be dealt with. He is simply not good enough for this squad right now. Mostly for the fact that we had 3 chances at goal. He was the main outlet for it and he squandered them 3 times. So at this point in time, I personally, if I was Moyes, I'd be ditching him. I'd be saying to him, right, you're going to warm this bench up for us for the next few games. Either get Barry on, either turn around and say to him, Die, this is your chance to shine, mate. Show us what you're worth, get dribbling on. There's so many ways that we can go about this, but the way we're going about it right now is just not working. We are going to lose, and we are going to lose severely unless something changes. But right, it's almost time for the second half. Come on, Blues, let's fucking turn this around.
Cheers, right, guys.
And that's the final whistle. Everton 0, Tottenham 3. So that is our first defeat at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and it was a rather appalling one, to be honest. As I said at half time, Beto needs to come off. Moyes decided no, he wants to keep him on until about the 63rd minute mark. Now, gotta give him his praises where they are due. He almost scored. He almost scored a decent little overhead kick. Unfortunately, Tottenham's bloody keeper decided to turn to Brian Buffon. But yeah, shortly after the overhead kick attempt, Everton made substitution. Barry came on for Beto. On top of that, James Garner went into the right back position and Malin Roll came on. To be honest, Jake O'Brien came off as well for that. But to be honest, it wasn't a bad game. It was not a bad game. As you can probably tell from the hoarseness of my voice, my main frustrations were more with the officials because some of the decisions they were making were absolutely freaking manic. I don't understand what they were doing, but the time wasting that you could see there, it was so blatant that the fact that they didn't penalise and the fact that they didn't try and do something to try and mitigate it and just try and get the football going again, just keep it going. It was lunacy. It was absolute lunacy, and it was basically, if anyone was sitting around to go, oh no, that's a fair and reasonable decision by the referees, then sorry mate, you need to get your fucking head checked. The thing right now that is blatantly obvious to Everton right now is we need a striker. It's just screaming at us. We also need people who can actually operate on the same frequency as the likes of Jack Grealish, because at this point in time right now, Jack Grealish is doing his own thing and we just don't have the players who are translating to what he does. So either he needs to adjust to our play style or vice versa, because the way we're going right now, we're just not getting the results. Illumin did well. Malin Roll did really well when he came on. Who else? Jack Grealish did all right. Overall, I would say most of the players were like 5 or 6 out of 10. They weren't terrible, but they weren't great. But there's so many things we need to have a look at. I hope Moyes is looking at this and saying, right, I understand where we went wrong here. Beto, don't ever touch my squad again. I do think, though, we need to start playing Tyler Dibbling a little bit more, get him more into the game a bit, get him used to James Garner potentially being a right back, because that was actually decent to see, because he was pressing up, he was doing something that most of our current right backs aren't doing. Jake O'Brien, don't get me wrong, he's doing well as a right back, but he's better as a centre back. He is much better as a centre-back. But yeah, overall, shocking goal, shocking game altogether. Refereeing decisions were something that were complete lunacy. Thomas Frank's team, you can see how they play. They're great going forward, but their defending is something else. They're not the best when it comes to defending. So we need to try and exploit that sort of stuff in the future. Yeah, guys. I don't think we'll be doing a post-match reaction because I've said all I need to say, really. I'll just basically be repeating the exact same thing in the post-match reaction. So yeah, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I do greatly appreciate your continued support. If you liked it, you know what to do. If you want to suggest anything to me, whether you want me to try something different when it comes to these sort of videos, put it in the comment section below. If this is your first time watching this, hit that little subscribe button. I do greatly appreciate that. Don't forget to also put notifications on, because we know how manic the YouTube algorithm is. Sometimes it gives you the videos immediately, sometimes it doesn't. Also, if you want to share this with your friends and family, by all means share it with your friends and family. I'm sure they will appreciate that. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Onwards and upwards. For Craig Pawson, and peace.